Now that we have created the broadcast append to method, it's going to be much easier to create the other ones. So the ones that we're going to create are the broadcast prepend to method, the broadcast replace to method, and the broadcast remove to method. And in our example, the broadcast replace to method will take place after update commit, and the broadcast remove to method will take place after destroy commit. So this will enable us to test at the end of the video in the console. So let's move on to our broadcastable concern and start by adding the broadcast prepend to method. And the logic is exactly the same as for the broadcast append to method, except that instead of calling the broadcast append to method here, we're going to create a new method called broadcast prepend to. And when we move into this module here that is extended in the TurboClone streams channel, we are going to create a new method called broadcast prepend to, and it's exactly the same as broadcast append to, unless that the action that we are going to use here is the prepend action. That way, when we create our TurboStream action tag here, the action that will be used will be prepend and not append. So this should work, and we're going to create the other methods. So the first one is broadcast replace to. And it's exactly the same logic once again, but this time the target is going to be the model that we are calling the method on by default. That way this target will get converted into a DOM ID. So if we want to replace in the HTML the div with the DOM ID of the article, this is the target that we need. And the same goes here. We're going to create a broadcast replace to method, and here we go. We're going to create this broadcast replace to method here, and the action is replace. And the last method that we're going to create is the broadcast remove to. And this time it won't take any rendering options because we're only going to remove HTML from the DOM. So let's go ahead and remove this. And this time the method that we are going to use here is the broadcast remove to method. So let's add it here. And it's exactly the same. It's broadcast remove to, and the action is this time remove. And even if we removed the rendering here, we still have to keep the options because we are passing here the target. And so let's try it directly in the console. So I'm going to go ahead here and refresh the page, and I'm going to create in the console a new article. So I'm going to say article create, and this one should have the content before the first article because it's going to be prepended this time before first article. And here we go, it was prepended by what we just built. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to update its content. So what we're going to say is article dot content is equal to something updated. And well, it didn't change yet, but when I'm going to save the article, what is going to happen is that the after update commit is going to call the broadcast replace to method and broadcast the HTML to the article's stream. So let's go ahead and say article.save, and as we can see, the HTML have been updated automatically. And so the last action that we can check is article.destroy. And if I submit, the article is removed from the DOM in real time. So we have finished with this video. This feature was kind of complex, but I hope you enjoyed building it. It really shows how the different parts of Ruby on Rails can be tied together to build some amazing features. And in the next video, we will learn how to test this behavior.